I feel a little bit bad about Alan because, I wasn't always there for him. Me and his ma split up, well, he was about 7 or 8 years old, I believe. And, I just couldn't stand her is the reason why. So, he was actually, my wife was pregnant for 11 months. This guy would not come out. 11 months. And so we go to the hospital and we get there and she's about ready to come out because, she said she could feel it, it's time. So water broke and whatever else business goes on when a woman gives birth. So she gets taken to the hospital. And she starts, doing her business, hoo, he's, those little things there. So, now, this is true, I'm telling you, she was like out to here. I mean, really, seriously. It was like she was giving birth to a full-grown 5-year-old boy. You say, okay, I could see his head, here comes his head. I mean, my God, the head was the size of a pumpkin. And I'm not talking a little one, I'm talking a big one. Well, I'm standing there, I'm like looking at my son being born, my first son. And watching, and I'm telling you this is true, he would not come out. Okay, he would not come out, and she's pushing as hard as she can. Now, this is what people say. They don't believe me when I tell them. They say it's a myth, it's a legend, you heard it from some kind of fairy tale story. This is true. My wife pushed so hard, that little son of a bitch just popped right out and actually flung out. The doctor couldn't even catch him. I mean, he just popped, and he flew out. Now, he didn't go far, because he had the umbilical cord still attached to him. But, I mean, he flung out of there. Nobody believes me when I say that, because, babies don't just pop out. I mean, it was like, here's the wife, and here's the baby. It was like, pee! Just like that, pee! So,
my boy Alan Putz was born in October. I won't give the year away, because, well, I don't want to give my, how old I am. We don't want to do that. But he was my little boy. And let me tell you, the birth of him, it happened, well, I was in labor for, about 140 hours, I believe it was. He wouldn't, he wouldn't come out. He just wouldn't come out. Well, finally, he made his appearance, and he was out. And he was a big baby. He was a big baby, he was. He was enormous. I don't think I've ever seen a baby that big before. I mean, he was big. He was about the size of a 5-year-old child. Well, anyways, Alan was my pride and joy. He was my first. He was this cute little, well, I shouldn't say little, this cute big baby. By the time he was in kindergarten, he was about 6 feet tall. It was a little awkward for all the other students to have a boy that big, and, well, it was awkward for me too because, well, I'm only about 4'3". I'm a small woman. But he got big. Yeah, he got big.
Pardon me, I was just catching up on some reading. My name is Dr. Brown, and I was the doctor who brought Alan into this world. The mother decided that I would become Alan's pediatrician. And every year, Alan would be brought in, and he kept growing bigger and bigger and bigger. I remember one time when he was about 7, he couldn't even fit through the door. He was big dude. But then for some reason, and we can't really explain it, but when he became a teenager, he began to shrink. That's right, he began to shrink. Once again, I'd never seen anything like it, and really cannot explain it, but I've never seen anybody just go.
No, he's my brother. I like chocolate. I like chocolate. He was a good brother to me because he would, play with me, and he'd talk to me, and he always sneaked chocolate into my room. Mine didn't know because, you know, he would sneak in the kitchen and take the chocolate and bring it up and go, "Hey, chocolate for you." Yeah. We had fun though when we were young because, you know, he was my brother, and he liked to have fun, and I remember when Alan was born. It was wonderful because he was, you know, he was my grandson, my first grandson, and he was born, and he was a big boy. Yeah, he was big. He was huge. Alan Putz? I never heard of no Alan Putz. Did you hear of an Alan Putz? No, never heard of him. Oh, Pitts. Oh, yeah, I heard of Alan Pitts. He was a putz. Alan Putz was a putz. He was my neighbor for quite a few years when he was a little punk. That's exactly what he was a little punk. Him and his brother and his mother. Well, his father was no prize either, let me tell you. No prize at all. He was a little son of a bitch. He'd go into my garden to pull out my radishes and eat them right there in my yard. You wonder what tree you're looking there. This dog likes the French kiss. Well, let me tell you something. Alan Putz would eat my radishes. Go right in my yard, put them right out of the ground, start eating them, and I'd have to take my pitchfork and chase after him, and I'd say, "You little Putz, get the hell off my yard." I hated that son of a bitch. Him and his brother eating my radishes. I eventually got a liking to the hose, though. That hose was a nice thing, 'cause he'd come into the yard to take my radishes, and I just squirt him with the hose right all over his pants. And then all the little neighbors thought he wet his pants, and they'd laugh at him. The little Putz. He was a son of a bitch. And I remember when he would come over with his dog Pooh. Pooh would come into the house and he'd start chewing on my couch. I didn't like that at all because that was my couch. So I would smack Pooh in the ass. Right in the ass. Smack him. And Pooh would snap back. So I'd have to smack him again, and I'd kick him out and tell Alan to go with him. I didn't like the dog. Didn't like the dog at all. I remember Pooh. Pooh was our dog. And he would pant, like, you know. He was my dog, and he was my brother's dog. Alan was my brother. He liked to play with Pooh, and Pooh was his favorite, because he would play with Pooh, and he loved Pooh. It was a funny name, but he came up with the name. He said, "Let's call him Pooh, because he looks like a Pooh." But he was, you know, Pooh was funny, because Pooh is funny. Yeah. My brother was funny. He liked Pooh. And the dog.
Couldn't stand that dog. Nope, couldn't stand it. All it did was bark and bark and bark, and it humped my leg. Alan loved it, though. Him and Pooh. I don't know why the hell he named it Pooh. I thought maybe after the Winnie the Pooh, but no, he named it after shit. So that's what I called him. Alan was saying, "Come here, Pooh." I was saying, "Come here, shit." Oh, I hated that dog.
He loved that doggy, though. The doggy would We'd go outside and play, and he'd go with the doggy, and they'd be playing out in the backyard and jumping around and all that stuff. And he would grab the doggy's tail and go, ooh, and the doggy would turn around and bite him. He broke skin a couple times, but nothing, no big deal, you know. It was his doggy, you know. But I remember sometimes he'd ride the dog like a horse, and there was one time he took his father's belt. This was before his father left, and he was riding the dog Pooh and had a belt, and he'd be like, "Giddy up, giddy up." The dog bit his throat. Yeah. Pooh bit his throat and pinned him down, and there was blood. There was blood. Now, I'm not so upset about blood because in my past life I was a nurse. Yeah. Not this life, no, in my other life. I had another life. I was a nurse, so I don't get upset by blood. I knew he would be okay, you know, because he's my little boy. But it was funny seeing the dog, and he's got him pinned to the ground, but the boy is, you know, squirming. But, you know, the neighbors came by and rescued him. They said it wasn't proper for the dog to do that. I mean, what do I know, you know? I've never had a dog growing up. My parents said dogs were evil, and I wasn't allowed to have one. Yeah, they said the dog would, dogs at night would like to go in your room and strangle you with their paws. They would take their little paws and wrap it around your throat and well, try to get the life out of you.
Well, let me tell you about that dog, Pooh, the little son of a bitch. He'd go into my garden and eat my radishes, just like the little putts. Yeah, that's right, girl. Go in there and eat all my radishes, you little son of a bitch. I'd go after with the pitchfork and that thing bark at me and just bark, and I'd say, "Who you barking at? This is my yard, you son of a bitch." Yep. Eventually I got a lock to the hose, though. I'd start squirting that son of a bitch with the hose and soak him dry. He didn't like the wetness, and he'd go roll into the grass and get all dirty and then go run into the put's house. Now that's what I like. Dirty up the carpets. Yeah, the little putts, they were sons of bitches, and so's the dog.
Growing up, we taught Alan all the proper, you know, behaviors and morals and, you know, things like that. Because, well, his father and I, we got divorced. Well, we don't want to use the word, though. You know, I don't like to say it. Divorced. That's it, okay? I'm not going to say the word again because it's not proper. I am a religious, church-going woman, and I believe in the sanctity of marriage. And to have my husband want a D was heartbreaking for me. We had some problems with Alan growing up. Maybe he was acting out because his daddy wasn't home anymore. He was, well, he was misbehaving. And I don't like misbehaving in my household. Misbehaving is a call for the hand. And I believed in using the hand on his backside. You misbehaving, that's what you'd get. But, you know, he learned to fight me on that. And he would, you know, take his little hands and block his rear end. Now, of course, you know, keep in mind he was about, you know, 7'5" by the time he was 12. And, well, his butt was pretty big. I mean, you know, it was about the size of my car, so it was, you know, my little hand spanking that was, well, it was kind of like a fly on a horse's behind, you know. We had fun, though, when we were young because, you know, he was my brother, and he liked to have fun, and he was my brother. But, you know, we used to play in the backyard, 'cause, you know, we had this dirt, and we used to build towns. They were like real towns. Well, there were towns with trucks, and trucks and tractors, and the big dump trucks.
We were best of buds. I mean, we were. I mean, we hung out a lot, you know, and, you know, we were pretty calm kids, you know. We'd just go and play out in his backyard. He had, like, this, you know, like, area of dirt and stuff, and we'd just take our shovels and these little fake, you know, trucks and stuff, and had our own, like, town. It was pretty cool.
Hello, my name is Cecilia Ray, and I was Alan's first grade teacher. Alan was one of my favorite students. He was so kind and generous. Always did his homework. Always was in the classroom ready to learn. But one of the things that I remember most about Alan was he would bring me a beautiful Granny Smith apple, a green apple, every day to school and leave it on my desk. Now, it wasn't because, you know, give the teacher an apple thing. No, it was because he knew I loved to bake apple pie. So every day he would give me an apple for my pie. Oh, by the end of the year, he must have given me 1,000 apples. Oh, but I love to make pie. Oh, every, you know, so often I'd bring the pie to school and I'd give it to Alan for him to have my pie. I love to bake. As a matter of fact, would any of you like a pie, huh? If you don't want the whole pie, I can give you a piece of pie. Would you like a piece of pie? Would you like a piece of pie? I love pie. I don't know, I love to bake it, I love to eat it. Well, it makes me happy, and I'm a happy person.
He was always getting in trouble in school. And his mother'd have to go bail him out, and I told her, I said, you ought to have the son of a bitch locked up. He's a menace. I didn't train you to be like this. What kind of a mother are you? And she'd go upset and start crying. You know, her husband left her. It was because of the way she is. She's needy. She's a lousy lay. She doesn't know how to treat a man right in the bed. I do, that's why my husband never left me, but hers did. Just excuse me, I had to give up smoking, and all the stuff in my lungs is spilling out. I'm 91 years old. Why the hell do I have to give up smoking? What difference does it make? I could die tomorrow. But, you know, the doctor's right. I can't hide it from him because I'm sleeping with him. That's right. Grandma still knows how to get it done.
Now, his parents, and especially his mother, because his father left the family, but his mother had some serious issues with Alan when he became a teenager. Apparently, Alan was quite the wild one. I shouldn't even say apparently, because, well, he got into some fights, and who do you think had to treat him? Yours truly, me, Dr. Brown. Alan would give me a bit of an attitude. I'd say, why did you get into the fight? And he'd say, shut the F up. But Alan was using it, and I was not happy with him, and I told him to shut up. I said, shut your filthy mouth, I do not want to hear it, I will wash it out with soap. He egged me on, he said, come the F over here, old man, I'd like to see you effing do that. So I took some of my antibacterial soap, and I shoved it into his wretched, dirty mouth. Well, he held off and smacked me and gave me some stitches. I sewed myself up and...
See, I wasn't around for Alan when he was a teenager, but I got some of the calls. I mean, I didn't completely leave him, you know. I didn't see Alan much. I just couldn't go there and face the family, and I definitely didn't want to see his mother. I couldn't stand her, quite frankly. You know what she used to do? Put doilies all over the house. All over. I had no control. I couldn't put nothing I wanted up in that house. It was all her. Whatever she wanted, she got. Little Miss Press. I couldn't stand the bitch, I tell you. Anyways, Alan was a son of a bitch when he was a teenager. True son of a bitch. always getting in trouble. He'd harass the teachers. From what I hear, I don't know if this is true, because even back then, I just didn't want to deal with it. I heard he beat up his science teacher. Beat the living shit out of his science teacher. But he was just, yeah, he was a wild teen. And I'll tell you one thing, though, he had my genes, because he, you know, had a lot of women. Yeah. Started young when he was about 14. His mother's calling me, telling me, you know, I just caught Alan in the bedroom. Damn son of a bitch is 14 and he's in the bedroom with a girl. She wanted me to come over there and break him up because she said she even threw water on him. He didn't budge. He kept going. She said he was like a rabbit.
My goodness, he was a wild teenager, getting in trouble in school. He'd mouth off to the teachers, and he would swear. Now, I did not teach him that language. We do not use language like that in my household. No. I don't know where he got it, and he would just start swearing and swearing and swearing at the teachers and throwing books, and he had to get arrested, you know, when the cops put him away, and, you know, then I had to go bail him out, you know, but, once again, I just think he was acting out, you know, because of his father, you know.
Man, I tell you, when we became, like, teenagers, that's when Alan snapped. I'm telling you, he became, like, the king of all dudes. I'm not kidding you, man. I mean, he became the king of all dudes. He was like the coolest guy in school. He was a huge troublemaker, but it was all in good fun. I mean, he never caused anybody any harm or, you know, would do anything to, like, you know, just, you know, I mean, he was just like cool, you know?
My name's Mr. Sanderson, and I was Alan's teacher. At one particular time, I was his history teacher. And I remember him clearly, because he was a son of a bitch. He used to laugh at me and make fun of me, you know, because I taught something called individuality. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I get into my classroom and I walk in the door, and you're not going to believe what I'm seeing. Standing there on top of my desk with his drawers hanging down and his little wang there hanging out is Alan. The little son of a bitch is peeing in my coffee. Peeing in my coffee with his thing just dripping out there. I'm talking everything. The peas and the carrots are out. I couldn't believe it, so I just grabbed him off the desk, and Mr. Wang there's just spraying all over the place, you know, and squirting everything, and the kids in the first few rows there, you know, and I grabbed him, throw him out of my classroom, and I said, "You get to the office, you little son of a bitch." He just laughed at me and gave me an inappropriate gesture, you know, and went off. I wanted him suspended, and they did. He was a son of a bitch. I mean, his friend, son of bitches.
Like, when we were, like, in high school, you know, we had this, like, this dude, this gym teacher dude, his name was, like, Mr. Schnapps. I'm not kidding you, dude. That was his name, Mr. Schnapps. And, dude, he was, like, I mean, he was a weird kind of dude. We had, like, this dirty blonde hair, you know, it was kind of going down, kind of long and scraggly, like. And, you know, he used to wear these, you know, gym shorts, but the dude would wear shorts that were, like, too small for him. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, he'd come in, and it was, like, his whole, like, you know, his package was hanging out, dude, and, like, you know, his butt cheeks, I mean, it was gross. So I'm telling you, this is true now, okay? This one time, Alan, he goes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Schnapps, you dropped your pen, dude, you know?" Mr. Schnapp bends down and dude, like, his whole little schnapps dropped out of his pants, dude. I mean, it was like, there it is. But that's how, you know, Alan was cool, though, you know? I mean, it was all in good fun. I mean, despite the fact that Mr. Schnapps, you know, went to therapy for 2 months and then committed suicide. But other than that, I mean, you know, he probably had other problems. I'm sure it wasn't because he was publicly embarrassed in the middle of the, you know, school cafeteria. I won't forget it, though.
When he graduated, it was one of the happiest moments of my life. Well, except for the time I got that Bible from my priest. He gave me a Bible. That was the number one happiest time of my life. But this was the second. But then again, maybe his birth was the second. No, his birth, the birth of Alan, that was about number 4. Because number 2 was the graduation, and number 3, well, that was, well, that was the, how do I say it? That was, they're the good, my eyelashes, you know, they're, and, you know, they do their own thing. That was, the first time I, the first time I made my communion. Yeah. So he graduated, and it was beautiful. It was. It was lovely. It was a lovely ceremony. And
well, like after school, me and Alan made this pact that we were gonna be best of buds. That was it. It didn't matter where we went in life, we were gonna stay buds. So we did, and we got a job together, and it was at this factory. Dude, it was like the worst freaking job, man, I ever had. I'm telling you, it was like horrible. It was like a nightmare. I mean, they had like these, fluorescent lights, and it was like, I thought they like took my soul, I'm like in there working, and there were like these blue lights, and I just could feel my soul like going inside of them, and it was like, bzoop, bzoop. Dude, it was like horrible.
He was such a hard worker. He was. You know what I'm saying there, dude? He worked hard. He'd come in on time every day, and he'd come in, and he always looked grumpy, though. I don't know why. It was a wonderful job. You see, what we did, we worked in this factory, and we would put these electronic components together. It was a lot of fun. It was, and you'd sit there, we worked about 10-hour shifts, and you'd sit down at your little bench, and you'd have your little electronic components, and you would, take these machines we called crimpers, and you'd crimp them on, all day for 10 hours a day. It was a lot of fun, so that's why I don't understand why Alan was always moody. He was a good worker, he'd come in and do his job, but he was moody, which I never understood really what the mood was about. He'd make, I assume they were jokes, but I can't be sure, but he would come in, and I would say, how's it going out? He goes, oh, it's going great, the fact that I have to work here, and then I'd laugh, I go, oh, that's funny, but I didn't really think it was a joke, but, he quit, he just didn't show up one day. It was, I come in and I'm like, hey, everybody, where's Alan? Where is he? Hey, Alan, dude, where are you? Hey, dude. Yeah, he wasn't there anymore. I don't understand what happened, but, it was enough about Alan, seriously, You know what I'm saying there, dude? But let me tell you about, I eventually, grew out of the company myself, I wanted to do other things, so I went and I went to, became a bikini model. I did. I left the job, became a bikini model. It was men's bikinis, not women, Dude, I think you thought I meant, women's, right?
Hello, my name is Bex. It's short for Becky, which is short for Rebecca. And I was the ex-girlfriend of Alan Potts. We almost got married. He was wonderful, and I'll never forget the time I met him. It was on July 4th, and there were fireworks at the beach. And he decided to go to the war and leave me behind. There is one story I remember. I remember being on the beach, which I love. I love the beach. And we're on the beach, and we're just running free. and Alan tripped and fell into a hole that was, I don't know, kids were making some kind of sandcastle or something. And he fell into the hole, and I ran after him. And then he pulled me into the hole, and we made love right in the hole. He comes over the house and he says, Mums, I have some news. I'm sorry I get upset now thinking about it. It was a sad time. He says, Mums, I am going to fight in Desert Storm. He said that to me. I said, we don't go to war in this house. He looked at me and he said, yes we do, my mums. Yes we do, we're going to war. I couldn't understand. Why would he want to leave his poor old mums alone? His brother was no use. We put him away. Was no use at all. But he was going to leave me, his mums. Go fight in the war. I didn't want him to go. I told him don't go. I said, Alan, don't go. Stay here. But he had to go. He said it was the right thing to do, and that was his purpose, his mission, and that he had to do it. I didn't want him to go, but he did. I missed him for a while because he wasn't around, you know, because he wasn't home, and Mom would always cry. And she cried, say, I wish Alan would come home. But he was in the war, fighting, you know. He said he was gonna help free another country from some evil guy named what was that? Saddam. Saddam insane. He was insane. Yeah.
Served in the Desert Storm together. The first Desert Storm, 1991. He was a good man. You need that when you're over there because you're so far away from home and you don't have your family around and you need to have some good friends there, and Alan was a good friend. We were in Desert Storm together, and Alan was the kind of guy who he put his life on the line for you. Okay, there was 10 of us. There was 10 of us, and we had to storm this building. Alan stayed outside, along with 2 others. And, you know, we stormed it. I was one who was going inside the building. So we go in there, you know, and got our guns out. Now, the sergeant and a few others had been ahead of me, and they were on the other side of the building, and that's when I hear him yell out, "Everybody out! Everybody out!" No, we knew what it was. We knew exactly what it was. And so we started running. And that's when a bomb went off. It killed the sergeant and the guys who were over there. The place is on fire. Alan was outside and he tried to get in through the front door to get us out, and he couldn't. I heard the banging at the front door, I heard him yelling. There's a guy next to me who was, on fire. I couldn't move to put him out. I couldn't move to put him out. He's on fire and he's screaming and yelling. I couldn't get to him. I mean, he died right there and burned up. Then I hear this sound coming from that side. I thought I was gonna burn up too, and I thought the rest of us, the 5 who were left, I'll never forget the guy screaming now. That sound of him screaming, I'll never forget it. I have nightmares. Anyways, Alan comes in through the window, and he comes crashing in, and he runs right through fire, and he's on fire. It didn't stop him, though. He didn't even scream. He comes right over, and one by one, he was rescuing all 5 of us. And he pulled me right out, and I had a timber over me or something, and I had a clear view of the inside. And I'm outside watching, and I'm laying on the ground, and I'm in agony. I don't know what happened. I just feel pain on my chest and my stomach area. Anyways, there's one guy left, and the guy is surrounded by flames, and Alan runs in. The timber comes down and it hits him. The timber's on fire. And it lands on his arm. Alan's on fire. And he starts screaming. But it didn't stop him. He managed to pull out that 5th guy. And pulled him right out. And Alan collapsed. And one of us managed to go over and put Alan out. It was incredible. He's a true hero.
And it came to my attention that one particular soldier, who was a hero and saved the life of another soldier and other fellow soldiers, was indeed ready to be honored. Therefore, I presented Alan Putz with the Medal of Freedom. The Medal of Freedom Award directed to Alan Putz, and I still remember the day when I met that young fella. He came to the White House early that day, and they brought him into the Oval Office. And there he comes in, this man about that tall, wearing his uniform. And he comes in and he says, "It's such an honor to meet you, Mr. President." And I said, "The honor is mine, Mr. Putz. Honor is mine." And then I looked at him and I could see that he had a sadness in his eyes, so I looked at him and I said, "I feel your pain. I do. I feel your pain." And I did. I felt his pain. Then he met my wife, Hillary. That didn't go so well. I believe at first, before he actually was introduced to her, he goes, "Excuse me, sir." That didn't play right with her. I don't know if he didn't notice that she was a woman or if he didn't want to notice. I don't know. But when he said that and the look on her face, when she turned around, I thought she was going to haul off and smack him or throw a toaster at him, which he's known for. I'm President George W. Bush, current President of the United States. I'm on vacation right now, so excuse my wardrobe. I'm wearing my cowboy hat. I've been asked to come here and talk to the camera about a man named Alan Putz, who was in the military. Alan Putz was a wonderful, wonderful man. I did get a chance to meet him. I invited him back to the White House for a special dinner we had. It was he and Laura and Barbara, my daughter, and the other daughter, and former President Bush, my father, and my mother, Babs, and we all sat down, had a wonderful dinner with Mr. Putz and his wife and his 14 children. I respected Alan. He was a good man, a decent man, a fine man, and he knew what he wanted out of life and what he wanted to do. See, he was a vet from the Desert Storm, and I was like on all kinds of things. I mean, I took the marijuana, and I took the coke, and I took the crack, and the heroin.
And you know the stamps that you would lick? Man, I met Alan, and he was like, you know, this wonderful soul. He lost his way, you know, because he was in the war, and man, war sucks, man. It sucks, you know. What does it accomplish? You know? Man, sorry, I hit your camera, man. Are you gonna get mad at me? Don't get mad at me, okay? It was just an accident, man. We need to love each other, man. Everybody. And my parents, you know, they were, you know, hippies, but I wasn't one when I was a kid. I mean, you know, what I did was, I told him, hey, you know, I got an idea, you know, okay? Oh, it's crazy. Let's get naked and run into a big thing of chocolate. Yeah, I said that, you know? He was like, you know, we can't do that, you know? We can't, man, you know, we can't. I said, hey, Alan, you know, it'll be wonderful. You know, we'll do it. So we did. Got naked, you know, and my little men are swinging around down there, you know, and we went to this chocolate factory, broke in. We broke in there, and you know what we did? We jumped in. Oh man, it was groovy, you know? It was like all this chocolate. It was like all over. And it was like, dude, peace, man. Peace. It was wonderful. Then we got caught, man. That wasn't groovy. When we got caught. Arrested officer on that case. And, to date, that was the strangest case I've ever worked on. I get a call that this guy is, well, these two guys are swimming around in, chocolate batter. That's right. What happens? I get to the scene. So I walk inside, and there's you know, it's a chocolate factory, so you got all your machines and your stuff and your conveyor belts. But then there's like this big, like, pot. I mean, it looks like a giant pot you see on a stove, but it's enormous. I mean, it's like the size of my house. Well, anyways, this pot is full of chocolate. I don't know if it's like a batter or what it was, but it was, you know, liquidy and, you know, looked like pudding. So, right in the middle of this batter, there are these two fellers, and they're jumping around and swimming in it. Now, I couldn't tell at first because they were covered in it, but they were naked. That's right, pure naked. I knew that because when the long-haired feller jumped up, you know, there it was, you know. So, you know, seeing people naked is nothing new on the job. But my thought was, how am I going to handcuff these guys? I mean, they're slippery, they're gooey. I mean, I got to put handcuffs on these guys, and then how am I going to get them in the car? And I don't know if this chocolate factory has a hose, but so I you know, so they didn't put up much of a struggle. Well, the little guy there, not the long-haired fella, but the little guy. I mean, he was tiny. I've never seen a guy that small. Anyways, he tried to get away, but he was running, and he did one of those things, you know, like in like a Three Stooges movie. He's running, but he's all slippery, so he's not going nowhere, and he's just, you know, and he falls on his ass, and then just kind of slid a little bit on his ass. I wish I had a video camera. Could put it, you know, put it in one of those, you know, funniest video things, you know, they have. Anyways, so he's on the ground. I go grab the other guy, and you know, he's swinging his stuff, and I'm like, hey buddy, you know, swing it the other way. I don't swing that way. Anyway, so I grab the long-haired fella and go get the little guy and handcuff them both together, and you know, kind of carried him by the cuffs. I didn't want to get the stuff all over me, you know. Take him outside, and I call the fire department. I say, fellas, I got a little fire you guys got to put out, you know. So they bring the truck over, and we got that fire hose, and it was, wow.
He worked for me at my radio station. When I come to America, I wanted to have my own business. I did not want to work at some stupid job where I had some stupid boss telling me what to do. So I decided that I would do my own business. So I had some extra cash lying around, and so I bought a radio station. But I don't like to talk into the microphone, so I hired people to do that. And one of the people I hired was Alan Potts. And believe me, he was a putz. At first he had no idea what to do. He'd talk in the microphone and do it very monotone. He would talk like this. Welcome to the radio. My name is Alan Potts. Welcome to the show. I told him I do not want to hear that. I do not want to hear it, not on my radio station. So we talked to him and I got one of our other DJs, Crazy Munson. Crazy Munson and I went to work on Alan. Alan became one of the best radio DJs I've ever heard. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He made me very happy. The other thing I liked about Alan was that he never told a lie. I do not like a liar. They tell you dishonest things and expect you to believe it. I do not believe in liars or what they say.
Hey, this is Crazy Munson coming right through the camera lands. Yeah, I have my own radio show and I used to work with that putz. That's right, he was wonderful, but no way as good as me, yeah! I'm telling you something, man. I go on the air and it's like magic. Oh yeah, all magic. I come in right at the radio and I say, Crazy Munson coming at you live. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you something, man. When that putz, when he came to the radio station, he didn't even know what the hell he was doing. Couldn't speak a damn lick a word. He'd go in there and be like, I'm Alan Putz. He was stiff as could be, but I came in Crazy Munson and I said, I'm gonna teach you how to do it, man. And he did it, yeah. I love talking in the radio. I like it because I get to just talk and you know what they say, you know, if you don't have a face for television, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, there was a period of time when Alan, volunteered for the Special Olympics, and I think he did it, dude, because his brother was in it. His brother was in it, but his brother was slow, you know. And Alan just had a thing for those people, you know, special people. And, like, you know, he was, you know, very generous and nice, but they were, you know, I got to know them myself, you know. Before Alan, you know, took me to the Special Olympics to meet the people, you know, I just, you know, I made fun of him, you know. I mean, you know, and Alan would say, you know, that's sick, dude, you know. It's like, you know, you shouldn't do that, you know. They're human beings, you know. Why don't you show some respect? But after meeting them, I mean, I did get some respect, dude, because they were, like, cool dudes, you know? I mean, they were, like, you know, they had me laughing all the time, you know? They were, like, you know, they were cool, you know? They were, like, really cool.
I remember when Alan taught me about running, he said, it doesn't matter how fast you go, it does matter to try. He said it matters to try. Even if you don't make it, to be the first one to make it to the line, the finish line. That is important that you still try. And he told me that. And listen, he said that he told me important to try. Yeah, I did. I tried. I didn't get to number one, number two, but I did make it to the finish line.
Alan we came to the line, and he said, you did it, buddy. You did it, buddy.
Let me tell you a story about Alan. Okay, so that's the secret. Alan loves those little sugar packets. You know those packets and you rip it and there's like sugar? They were good. He would eat them all the time. He'd have like them in his pocket and he'd just take it out and just eat it all. But he ate like a lot, you know? And I don't know why. He just kept eating them.
And like in one sitting, he could eat like a whole box of those things, you know? And he would. I mean, the dude would be there like constantly just, you know, sucking down those packets. I mean, you know that thing on TV, Cookie Monster? Yeah? Well, we used to call him the Sugar Monster. But seriously, dude, I mean, it was like weird.
None of the girls he's been with have been any good. None of them. None of his wives or his girlfriends, none of them have been any good. He never could meet the right person. Never. I don't think there was one for him out there. He didn't want to listen to his mums because I knew who would be good for him. He needed to be with a good church-going woman. Some of my friends, actually, I tried to hook him up with. I know there was an age difference, but, you know, I think they were much better people. But he didn't want to have that. He said, no, I don't date old women.
I am his first wife, Leslie. And we met on this villa in Italy. It was not a good marriage at all. It was horrible. Deplorable. Do you know he used to wear baseball hats to bed? I'm not kidding. He did. I am a classy woman. I do not put up with that kind of nonsense. So I would tell him, Mr. Putz, take off the hat. He wouldn't listen. He would not do it. He left on the hat. It was nasty and disgusting, and the top of the hat kept hitting me. Just kept whacking me in the forehead. The little bastard. I was a woman at the time, this was many years ago, who did not have a lot of money, but wanted it. I wanted the money, and I wanted it, but I wanted it now. So I sent him out to get some good work. And he didn't do it. The only thing he did was join some radio show that paid him about $200 a week. That wasn't going to buy me a diamond or the clothes that I wanted. I am a woman who does not believe in working. Why should I? I have the husband to do that. I do not work. I will not work. I refuse to work. But I sent my little hubby, to go out and work, and what did he do? Got a job that paid $200 a week. And then to make it worse, do you know what else he did? He started hanging around those special people. Mm-hmm. Yes, those special people. I don't hang around them. That's not my type of people. But apparently it was his.
You know, he got it done, if you know what I'm saying. He did. He got it done. But his mother didn't like any of his ladies. But I could tell you this. They were good looking. They were. Especially the lesbian. She was a good looking woman. A handsome woman. I was Alan's second wife. I met him at some kind of bowling alley, yada yada yada. We went back to his place, did some business. I asked him to marry me. I wanted a husband, so I was like, I'll marry him. So I did, and it was like, it was a nightmare. I didn't like being married to him because I preferred other I'm a lesbian. I don't care about admitting that I am a lesbian. The whole family made such a big deal about it, his mother, saying lesbians were evil, but his grandmother kind of, she encouraged me and said, be who you are. Alan, on the other hand, was a little upset and angry, and I left him, I would rather be with women that because that's what I like. That's what I prefer. Didn't really like being married to Alan anyways. He was a control freak. He would always be eating sugar packets, which was annoying. I didn't much care for that kind of life. So the marriage didn't last long. It was gone. It was over. I was happy, I was much better off.
You know which one though? The one, which one? I don't even know her name. She had the kids. She had, well, now she has a bunch of children and dogs living in the house. But she was wonderful. She was wonderful. She would come over here and bring me food and candy and chocolate. I can't eat chocolate. I have a problem with chocolate, but she would bring it anyways, and I'd eat it and end up in the hospital thanks to her. But, I like the chocolate. Nobody else would give it to me. That's why I'm blind, That is why I'm blind. I lost my sight because of that woman. Don't need to see. I've seen enough. 91 years is a lot to see.
I had just gotten out of high school. I was 18 when I met Alan, and it was love at first sight. I married Alan about 6 months later after I graduated from high school. It was beautiful. Now Alan had 2 kids from a previous marriage, and I had none. But me and Alan made up for that. We ended up having 12 kids of our own. And then we got 5 dogs, and I have about 22 little cats. Oh, more dearly I do. Although the noise is a little bit much, but what am I gonna do?
Yelling, screaming, yelling, screaming. I mean, what the hell's the matter with someone? They gotta scream so much. So he was seeing me, and I was his therapist. I was trying to help him through. And I tried to do what I could. I said, listen here now, Alan, you putz. He didn't quite take the well to the putz thing. He said, that is my last name. I don't like people calling me putz, because then I sound like I'm a putz. And I said, you are a putz. I mean, not only were you born a putz, but you're a putz. And he didn't like the putz thing. But I said, but that's your name. And he goes, I know, that's my name. I don't mind if people call me putz, but not if you call me putz because I'm a putz. And I said, you're a putz. To make a long story short, he's a putz. Well, that was the last time. The one thing that was constant in his life and that was good is that his third wife, wife number 3, turned out to be the best wife he had. She treated him kind, she was friendly, she was nice, she was young. Quite a young woman. I tried to have my go at her one time, but she wouldn't have it. Their mood was too strong for that. But believe me, I'd like to have my go at it, But his first wife and his second wife were nightmares. Complete nightmares. I mean, they ruined his life. They ruined his life because they were bastards. And that's what he would say, too. I'm not just making this up. He came in and he said his first wife and his second wife are bastards. And it turned out that one of his wives, his second wife, was a lesbian. Can you believe it? A lesbian. She left him for another woman. I told him, it's because of you. And he says, me? What do you mean? She couldn't be with another man because of me. I said, that's right, Ellen. You're a putz. She could not be with you anymore. She could not be with another man. She had to go with another woman. But he said, I thought that was just because she was born that way. I said, well, yes, most women, but not her. No, she left you because of you. And she left for another woman because she could not be with another man because she did not want to be with a man after what you did to her. That didn't seem to help him. I don't understand why. It should have worked.
None of his marriages worked out. No. I hated all of them. Hate's a strong word, but I did. We're taught not to hate in my religion. But I hated all of them. Especially the lesbian. Yep. I knew she was a lesbian. He didn't want to face it. I said, Alan, I know this is a sensitive subject, but I think she's a lesbian. He didn't want to hear it. But she left him. He caught her, actually. Yeah, she was in bed with 3 other women. Alan walked in, and they asked him to join him. Isn't that gross? Who would do such a thing? Well, Alan was so traumatized by it, he did. He joined him. It wasn't his fault, though. He was upset. Look what they did to him, to find his wife with 3 women. So he didn't know what he was doing, and he went and he slept with all of them. But she left him after that, and she's with women now. I don't understand why she married Alan to begin with. I tried to warn him, but he didn't want to listen to me. No, nobody wants to listen to me because I know better. I am smarter than he is.
Yeah, Alan worked for me. I was his final boss. And he worked at my company for 5 years. It was a plumbing company. You know, we'd clean out your pipes and fix your toilet and your sink and your whatnots. Alan hated the job, let me tell you. I mean, he never actually came up to me and said, you know, I hate the job. But boy, I mean, you could tell. He had this great skill, too. I mean, he only had 1 arm, so there wasn't much he could do, you know, but he would, like, you know, he could hold on to that wrench like nobody could. And we used him a lot to clean out the pipes. If something was stuck in there and we couldn't get in, Alan had this skinny little arm. I mean, I don't know how anybody could have an arm that skinny, but it was actually like a stick. And he just shove his arm up there and pull out whatever was in there. We get this call to go to this house, and there's a piping, and the woman says something's stuck in there. But it's alive. She can hear it making noise. Alan yells out, all right, you furry little fuck, I'm going to get you. And he sticks his hand in that pipe, he grabs the body of this thing and yanks it out. I lost it though, and he said, you furry little fuck. That's what I call my wife. That's just between us. Anyway, so Alan pulls out this thing, and you're not gonna believe what it was. It was an actual kitty cat. That's right. I don't know, the thing, it was a small cat. Never mind, I mean, it wasn't a big cat. But what happened is, that little trap you have, when you're gonna fill up your sink, and you hit the little thing, and it blocks all the water from going. I don't know what the hell you call it. But in any case, it was missing, and the little cat climbed in the sink basin and crawled down into the pipe and got stuck. So Alan's got this little wet gooey thing. I mean, these people have been using the sink for a couple days while he's stuck in there. So he got, spit and toothpaste and I don't know what the hell else was on him, all over him, poor little feller. I never forget that, though. Alan with the little furry fuck. Yeah, he hated that job, though. Boy, did he hate that job. Are we done? Because that's all I got, really. I mean, that's it. Are we done? Yeah, good.
I was with Alan when he was hit by the sugar truck. Now, I didn't tell his family this, and this will be the first time they hear of it. But I tell we were going to get some ice cream for the children. And it's a pretty big deal when we want to get ice cream because there's 12 of them plus his other 2 kids making 14. And the dogs like ice cream too, so we have to get them some. And it's a lot of work just to get ice cream. And it costs a lot. We had to take out a small loan. You should see what it's like when we go to movies. Mommy is talking. Shut up. Shut your mouths. Now the damn phone's ringing. The phone rings and rings and it won't leave me alone. They won't leave me alone. It's always bill collectors. Anyway, as I was trying to say. So we're holding these boxes full of ice cream. And a sugar truck is coming up the street. And Alan sees it. Now, he couldn't control himself. He could not control himself. And he started chasing after the truck. The ice cream spilled everywhere. He got it on my new dress. My new dress. It was a beautiful summer dress. I saw Alan in the middle of the street. Shut up! Shut your fucking mouths! Shut your fucking mouths!
I want them.
Don't you hear Mommy is talking?
Now.
Shut your fucking mouths! Oh my god! Shut it! Shut up, you stupid mangy mouths! Shut up or I'll kill you all! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Oh! They won't shut their fucking mouths! The dogs just keep barking and barking and the kids keep screaming and I said to shut up and they won't listen. Mommy is trying to tell a story. Shut your fucking mouths! Oh my god! Oh god, they won't shut up. The babies are crying and screaming. Thank you, Alan, for leaving me with this. Thank you, Alan. I should go to your grave and just pull you out of the ground and beat you. You left me with this mess with all these children and dogs. I have to bring them up myself. I'm young. I should be out partying. Anyways, Alan is standing in the middle of the street. He is standing in the street when the sugar truck is coming. And it's a sugar truck that carries the packets. And Alan sees it and he wants it. Now, at the time of his death, he had just seen a movie called Lord of the Rings. And he started to act like that Gollum guy, you know, the little creature. Right? He's really skinny and bony looking. And he sees the sugar and he puts out his hand. And he starts going, "Me wants it. Me wants my precious." And he's like, looking at the truck coming at him going, "Me wants me precious." I see it and I run and I drop the ice cream. And I run. But it was too late. He goes, "My precious." The truck hit him and he flew.
I'll never forget the day my mom called me. She called me into the living room and she said, "Sit down. I have something to tell you." Said that my brother Alan died. He was gone, he died. I started crying right there because Alan was my brother. And he died. She said, Alan's been a better place now. He's happy. But I said, how could Alan be happy? Because he left me. I'm his brother. He's not supposed to leave me. This time it wasn't like the war, because in the war he came back.
This time he didn't come back. He never came back.
Dude, I think about Alan like a lot, you know, because he was my best bud, you know. Nobody could make me laugh the way he did, you know. I mean, he just... He's a funny dude. I mean, he even looked funny, you know. I mean, he really did. I mean, he was a funny-looking dude. And then every time he opened his mouth, he'd make you laugh, and his whistling ears and everything, you know. But, you know, I guess the one thing that I never expected was the fact that Alan would die so young, you know? Dude, I just never saw that coming.
When I found out that Alan was killed, I was upset. He was my grandson, and now he's dead. I should be the one who have died way before him. A woman of my age, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother, because Alan had some kids, 14 of them. I should not be the one putting him in the ground. He should be the one putting me in. And to see my grandson lying there in the coffin, all glued together because he was in many pieces after he was hit. And to see him lying there still, and it's not the kind of thing grandmother should see.
The day I found out Alan died, I was upset. I was sad. It was the 8th saddest I've been. Having him die upset me greatly, because he was my boy, my first son. But on the other hand, I was relieved. He was miserable. Nobody should live a life like that. And he did. And plus I wanted him away from that woman of his, that slat, that little hussy. And now he was. And because their marriage wasn't long, she couldn't get any money. He didn't sign anything over to her yet. Oh, thank God. I don't think she loved him at all. She was just using him. Alan started to become more successful in his end days. Although he was seeing a therapist, which I don't like. Therapists are evil. They are. They're evil. There is something with them. I think they're spawn of the devil. They're demons. And they should die. All of them. Every one of them. Evil. And he was seeing an evil therapist. But he's dead now. And no therapist is going to destroy him anymore.
You know, I wasn't a good father. I wasn't there for my boys, and things aggravated me. I mean, you know, I didn't like the way they celebrated Christmas, you know, fighting over their toys, and, you know, the way Alan would eat his cereal, and I left, and his mother, I couldn't stand her. But I do regret what I did, and when I got the news that Alan died, it was like a slap in the face. I had my boy, my son, both of my sons. I was given the gift to be a father, and I threw it away. Before I could even really appreciate them as sons and as human beings, I ignored it. And I lost them. Alan had a tough life. With the war and growing up without me. He just kept going through one wife after another. Wish I could have been there to straighten him out, to have been there like a father. There's one good thing that came out of his death. I got closer with my other son. We're much closer now, and we talk, and I see him, and that's what Alan did. I appreciate that. It's a little quieter now without Alan. I may not have seen him through my life, but just knowing he's not there. He's a good boy. He lived a long, difficult life, but he made it through.
Alan was a wonderful boy. He was the best boy a mom could ask for.
I didn't care for him.
Dr.
much.
Meadows, please report to the
Sometimes I'd like to
sideboard.
put him over my backside
Meadows,
and
to
beat
the
the crap out of his ass.
I don't know what the hell he was doing. One day he's doing this, one day he's doing that. What the hell is he doing? I think that if he had gone a different direction, his life would have been better.
Alan was my brother. He was my brother.
I liked Alan very much, very much.
Good morning, Alan. And who are we today? Alan, we must have our session today. We remember what happened last time, don't we? Come on, this is gonna help you get better.